I think we're live.
Hey! What's up, everybody? Welcome. Uh-oh.
Oh.
I think you hit stop streaming.
Oh, come on.
Or did you hit stop and start again?
No, it still says...
Okay, we're live.
We're live?
I think so.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to the stream. As you know, I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
Miniatures tonight. And yeah, this is Jake.
Yeah.
My buddy who's joining me.
Hi.
One of the things that I felt like the stream needed... I know what's going on. It thinks I'm logged in.
Oh.
With you. That's okay. You can probably see chat now. You see chat?
No.
No? Okay.
Let me try,
Try and log in under your own account.
Okay.
So Jake's a cool dude. He's another dungeon master.
Oh, yeah.
He actually dungeon masters for Kelsey for a group that they have. And she says he does a really good job. I don't know. We haven't gamed together yet.
Which should happen, I think.
It should happen eventually at some point.
We should get some kind of...
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Now, only if I can remember my Twitch username and my credentials.
You said you watch Twitch all the time.
I do, but that doesn't mean I log in. I'm a real... I'm a lazy boy.
Okay.
I do have one. I know that for sure.
Okay. Well, while...
Gonna hop on my phone.
We're stuck in Frozen.
Are we?
Hold on. Let me see something here. I'm reloading. Hang in with us, guys. We're doing some new stuff today. It's an odd thing. The camera's locked in Frozen.
Oh, so, weird.
Here, hold on. Is it when you look? Is it locked in on OBS?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do a hard reboot here.
Please stand by.
It wouldn't be doing new stuff with me if there wasn't technical difficulties. Anything change?
No.
Okay, go ahead and quit out of QuickTime.
Okay. QuickTime.
I'm surprised so many people are sticking around while we're having technical issues. You guys are amazing.
They're dedicated.
Yeah.
QuickTime.
And then reopen it, and yeah, let's try and do the same thing again.
Uh-oh. Spinning wheel of death.
Ooh. Okay, go ahead and go to the left where it is on the thing. Right click it.
Okay, which is control, right? There we go. Force quit?
Yep, force quit.
Cool. We need the Fallout, please stand by, the old 50s,
like technical difficulties.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. These are all ways that we're going to improve the stream here, guys.
Just you guys wait.
Get better.
Okay, and then I want to go File. Oh, you know what it might have been? Because we played that video. Would that have taken us out of the new movie recording?
We did a test recording earlier to make sure everything was working.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, our faces should be fine. You should.
Which I think you might be seeing me now, but we're about to make that disappear, and we want to go black magic. No, what do we want?
Yeah, black magic. That's the one.
Audio. Well, that's the microphone actually. The camera's not showing up.
Camera's not showing up. I think you did an audio recording. You sure you did a movie recording?
Yeah.
Weird. Okay, I'm gonna come take a look.
All right. Please stand by. Timeout.
No worries. Okay, so and we are on there. So let's quit out of this. Oh, sorry, man. I hit your wire.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And then my face is over here. QuickTime. It's interesting that it still shows like a QuickTime window there. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to, while we're waiting, we're going to up the beats. There we go.
There we go.
Come on, work. Huzzah!
We did it.
Okay.
Tech Masters.
Yes.
All right.
We win. And just hope it doesn't screw up again. We still good? We got motion?
Yeah, we're good. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
We're live.
So, allow me to explain. For me, bring the music down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Should be the track right above the USB.
Bring it down to
Yeah. Just a little bit quieter so it's not.
Yeah.
So it's not killing out our audio. Okay, guys, let us know if something sounds weird or if the levels are bad. So if you don't remember what we're doing today, and I've updated Jake on it, but we are painting Chromatic Kobolds today. So we're continuing on this. Last week, I did the onerous thing of trying to work with green stuff on stream. It was really bad. If you haven't seen it, you should go back and watch it because it was horrible. And if you want to see me at my worst, watch me trying to paint or trying to sculpt with green stuff. Are we looking in focus there?
Yes, great.
All right. So I originally started with a batch of 16 Lizardmen miniatures that I was going to turn into basically kobolds with... Is it Cabal or Cobalt? Is there a T? There's not a T. Kobold.
Kobold.
Yeah. So I started with a bunch of like... So 16 was originally the original goal. And we were going to... you want to shut the door? Yeah, thanks, man. Jake's already coming in handy. Woo! Yes. This is great. So we started with a batch of 16, and my plan was massive. We were going to do 4 kobolds of 4 different chromatic dragon colors: green, red, blue, and black. And that was really ambitious. And my sculpting powers are such that they sucked. And I kind of ended up screwing up half the batch. So we've only got 8 kobolds. Luckily, though, I've got 2 of every kind. So we have 2 blue kobolds, which are these guys right here. I'll show you. So here are our blue kobolds. You'll note the front-facing horn, similar to that of the blue dragon. Give a shout out to my in-laws. Oh! Are they watching? Skull Trail is my brother-in-law Eric.
Hi. I know
are
your
you watching
sister.
with them? That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, hello, Pam and Dana. You guys are really cool.
Nice to virtually meet you guys.
Yeah, that's Jake. Kelsey knows him too. So you'll notice these are the blue kobolds because they've got that front-facing horn on their head. Try and keep it on screen here. And then I've got the black kobolds, which have the kind of forward-facing 2 horns, where they're kind of, I don't know if that's like a ram or what that would be, what animal that's like.
I think they're...
Like a bull.
Yeah.
Kind of like a bull. And then we've got
those look good.
Red Cabal, which have the backward-facing horns. Kind of 2 backward-facing horns. So, and I tried not to make them all unison. I wanted them to be somewhat unique, partially because I think that's more creative, but also because, like I said earlier, I suck at sculpting, so repeating the same thing twice would be impossible for me. So, and there's the green ones, which don't have horns, so those were easy to make.
Right.
So, it's a Deathclaw. Nice. Alright, so we're going to start out with the blue kobolds. And we're going to start out with this guy, which I think was the first one I ever sculpted even. And we're basically just going to start putting on base coats on these guys. So I think what I'd like to do is... what do you think, Jake? Do we try and do two at a time and fully complete each 2? Or do we go base coats on all... detail on all, like finish on all? Like, do we?
Maybe we have the chat vote. What do they want to see?
Oh man, we've done the chat vote before.
Chat vote?
It doesn't work really.
All right, this is not a democracy.
Yeah, no.
It's an oligarchy. Yeah, me and you. Exactly, fine. Exactly. Okay.
I ultimately reserve the right to.
Let's get the blues out of the way.
Decide over top of you.
Oh, jeez. So, okay, fine. All hail. Yeah. All hail, Josh.
This is yeah.
Yeah. Let's just
do blue all the way.
Yeah. Let's just.
Okay. That's what we'll do. Sounds good to me. Okay. So I'm gonna put on the palette here. I've got this guy is Stegodon Scale Green, and I know it's green, but it actually looks a lot more blue than green. So I'm gonna get this guy on there.
Once I figure out Twitch, I'll be able to see
the chat. Are you still on chat?
Yeah, you know, Bad co-host over here.
If it cuts to FaceTime, no worries.
They can just look at
your face.
Oh, because that's why they're really here.
See your face. Yeah.
The painting is.
So Jake, while you're getting that set up, man, while I'm doing this, tell stream a little about yourself. Introduce yourself here.
Yeah, my name is Jake Peterson. I am a DM. I've been DMing for, 3.5 years now. Wow. Yeah. I am a student. So.
What got you into dungeon mastering or D&D?
It's kind of a weird story because we had talked about LARPing first. Yeah.
That's not how it goes.
No. We were like, it'd be really fun to dress up in costumes and hit each other with swords, Problem
so D&D was like a step back.
Right. Well, we decided that we weren't brave enough for LARPing. So we bought some dice, and actually, for me, what got me I had always wanted to play D&D.
Yeah.
Because of that Community episode.
Yes, that's what got a lot of people into
it.
You can thank Dan Harmon.
It was, and then also Freaks and Geeks.
Okay.
The last episode of Freaks and Geeks had a really awesome D&D episode.
Okay.
And I don't know if anyone's seen Freaks and Geeks. It's on Netflix. Watch it.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you need to. It's the 70s. It's really well written. Probably one of the best, I don't know if it qualifies as a sitcom.
This white is dead. I can't use it.
Uh-oh.
It's gone chunky.
Yeah, Freaks and Geeks, really good.
Okay. So those combined kind of got you.
Yeah, and especially the Community episode had a huge part because I really enjoyed Pierce being the bad guy.
Oh yeah.
And I really wanted to make.
You wanted to be the bad guy.
Well, I don't want to say that. Yeah, no, I wanted to make a bad guy that people were actually afraid of.
Okay.
And so...
Not the doofy old guy.
Exactly. So that's what I kind of did. I ran with it, and I got a group together, and we still play occasionally.
Right on.
It's probably one of my, I don't know, I think getting into D&D is probably one of my... what's the word I'm looking for here? It's probably one of the best things I've ever done.
Right on.
Because it's such a great way to just, get your creativity out.
Oh yeah,
and then just have fun with it.
Absolutely.
It's also such a social thing, which I'm,
You're a social guy.
I'm a pretty social guy.
Yeah.
Big theater guy.
Okay.
So, plays and really comfortable doing the voices and having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, it was a great way to do theater in my own home, and have fun with my friends.
Group improv.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of me.
Okay, cool.
Real nerdy guy too. I probably know more about Westerosi history from A Song of Ice and Fire than actual history.
Than regular
world
history,
which is depressing because I'm going into medieval and Renaissance studies.
Well, you're gonna enhance it.
Exactly. I'm trying to even my interests there.
Yeah. Which will be interesting because a lot of fantasy is based on real world history.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I huge Star Wars fan too. Star Wars is my sci-fi. Westeros and A Song of Ice and Fire is my fantasy.
Okay, right on. All right, I'm going to start here. So what I've done is I've blended the base coat here between black and white and the color. So this is what I like to do, Jake. I typically will choose a primary color and then or a main color, and then I'll get some offset shades with a black paint and a white paint. Mm-hmm. And then what I'll do is I'll basically go through. It's called wet painting, is the technical term when you blend your paints together before they're completely dry. Mm-hmm. Some people can be kind of excessive with it, and I've tried it and done it poorly before. But yeah. Oh, Shadow Taxes. Have you gotten in chat yet?
I'm trying. I got distracted talking about myself.
Okay.
What's Shadow Tax saying?
He says, what other systems have you tried?
Oh man. Okay. So, Star Wars, Fantasy Flight Games, Edge of the Empire. which is actually part of that. And then Force and Destiny is actually what I'm running right now.
With Force and Destiny?
Force and Destiny, it's like the Jedi Force book.
Okay.
So it's all part of the same system, but because Fantasy Flight Games, wants money, they split up the books into three different volumes. Okay. So you have like the Smugglers and the Bounty Hunters, which is Edge of the Empire. Then you have Age of Rebellion, which is like the rebels and rebel leaders and that kind of stuff. Okay. And then you have Force and Destiny, which is what I'm running right now, and that is like Force users and the Sith and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. And can you combine them all, or do you?
Yeah, so they're all you can all throw them together, and so like right now we have a bunch of bounty hunters running around with a couple Jedis, and it's been a lot of fun because the Jedis are super weak.
And that's the group Kels plays in, right?
Yeah, she's a Jedi.
Yeah.
So, it's been a lot of fun. The Burning Wheel is probably Burning Wheel and me have an interesting relationship. I've run it a few times,
For people who don't know Burning Wheel, maybe explain a little bit.
Sure.
Because it's a different type of kind of role-playing.
Yeah, Burning Wheel is real deep.
Hi, guys.
You want to hop in on the stream a little bit? Say hi?
I'll say hi.
Oh, yes! She never does this.
Get it.
Guys,
it's because I'm here.
We have a treat.
Jake's here.
We have a treat.
I have to perform.
Look who it is.
You should definitely get in with Jake there.
Here.
This is my other dia.
Wow! We already gone over that.
Oh, well,
we touched on it, yeah.
Telling parents how great their kids are.
How is... Actually, you probably shouldn't go into conferences, right?
Right.
Parent-teacher... confidentiality. Yeah. It's like a doctor.
I saw 8.
Why don't you tell the internet about your kids?
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And you have, like, how many students?
See?
Probably 20.
Okay.
But no one wanted to leave their house tonight, I guess.
It's too cold.
It's too cold.
Kelsey,
it's cold in the gym.
Cass says, tell her hi.
Hi, Cass.
And Aladar says, hey.
Hey.
Do you have a
Shout
Twitch?
Taxes says hi.
Yeah.
Can you log in real quick so I can see chat?
Yeah.
Because
I'll go get my computer.
What? Just log in here.
Oh. Okay.
So you're going to talk in chat?
As your wife.
My wife? Okay.
Nobody will know the difference.
I don't even know if I remember my login.
Well, see, that was... Okay, but you can't press space.
Well, you can press it.
What?
We just have to fix it if you do. Because it tweaks with Twitch. Or not Twitch, the OBS software we used to
So
stream.
if you push space, it'll go right to your
I'm
face.
going to adjust this a little bit because I'm seeing it's cutting my face off.
I want to be able to talk to the... Oh, look at you did it.
I did it?
Yeah, I wasn't able to do that.
Why not?
Well,
Did you hit space?
Well, yeah, a few times. Okay, so can I talk to the people?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, chat, say something.
They're saying, yeah. Welcome, Jake, to the chat feed.
Still not seeing anything.
No one said anything yet.
Oh,
Yeah, it's because nothing's happened yet.
Yeah. So this is a bummer thing about. Cass just said something. You got to see that. Can you see that?
no.
Whoops, caps lock. And of course, everyone's saying something now.
I can't press space. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go without space.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to type in there. You can just.
Oh, see, there we go. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Back to the pen cam. We'll get all this technical stuff figured out someday.
So what's wrong with the space bar?
I brought Jake in so I could have someone to talk to and someone to read chat, and he can't even read chat.
No, you can't read. We've talked about this before.
Well,
Well.
Okay, so I said, can you see this with underscores? Is that showing up?
Yeah, as Kelsey Greer. Maybe reopen the page.
All right, we're gonna round 4.
And we're still painting, so.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Just ignore me, really.
Is the screen frozen? No, I don't think it is. I think I just took it off screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I've got a general coat here of this blue, and I'm going to start working in some different colors.
What are you painting?
I am painting what I am calling chromatic kobolds.
Nice.
So kobolds are kind of draconic minions.
Sorry.
Look what you've done.
She knows I'm up here.
Oh,
She
sweet.
needs attention.
Thank you for logging in, even though...
It doesn't do anything.
I don't understand why.
You're still not seeing any chat?
Maybe... I'll figure out my stuff, and maybe I'll pull it up on my phone. So there'll be a bit of a delay.
Oh, but from what you're seeing? Oh,
yeah but
fine.
that'll be fine, because I can still communicate.
Just hop onto our internet here, so you're not...
Bye, Kelsey.
Using...
I'm sure I'll see you when it's over.
Well, let's not be certain.
Okay. I'll just close my eyes so I can see you.
I'll sneak out the window.
Spoken like a true DM. Let's not be certain.
Nothing is certain.
Yeah.
Everything is permitted.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Alright, come on, Twitch. I'll just install the app.
Start from the ground floor.
We're starting over. We'll do it live.
Someone's getting ready to go see the Pokemon movie.
The Pokemon movie?
Is there a new Pokemon movie?
In theaters? Okay, so is this the Pokemon movie with Mewtwo, or is this a brand new one?
I have no clue. I didn't realize Pokemon was still making movies.
Oh, yeah, man. Pokemon will never die. Especially with the new Sun and Moon coming out. Do you play Pokemon?
No.
Oh, man.
My brother does. Ricky's super into it.
Okay.
I am not.
Ricky sounds like a cool dude.
He is a cool dude.
Because I am super stoked for the new Pokemon games.
Yeah?
Alright, yeah. I just actually beat Sun and Moon, the new ones, 2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I was late to the party, but I really enjoyed it.
What is that, on DS?
Yeah, I got it on my 3DS.
Because they'll never make a Pokemon for not DS.
Well, I think they're making one for the Twitch. Or not the Twitch, for the Switch.
You think they're going to make one for the Switch?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be a bold move for...
Because I think, they're going where no man has ever gone before.
More like they're going where everyone's gone.
You're right.
Which is consoles.
Man.
I always felt like they've been afraid to start selling Pokemon on consoles.
Because they split the market or whatever?
Yeah.
They competing against themselves?
Yeah. Also, Nintendo has historically, they do not understand, the internet.
The console? Yeah, and the internet?
And, yeah.
Well, I think they're getting there. Because I with the Switch especially, because I think they actually they've fallen to the subscription model of playing online. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something they're doing now. Nintendo's funny because they make amazing games.
They make literally the best games.
I the new Mario game is getting 10 out of 10s everywhere.
Yeah.
But just as a company, they're 10 years behind on all of the tech and what's this?
Well, they literally jumped into HD with the Wii U, which was ridiculous. That the Wii came out in a generation of high definition when it was standard definition.
Well, it's funny that the Wii was up against the PS4 and the Xbox One and that kind of stuff. Because it didn't even feel like it was the same gen.
Oh yeah, PlayStation was. I mean, the Wii U felt real old school.
All right, we're signing up. New account, new me.
New Jake.
It's a new generation.
So I'm kind of somewhat exploring here with the paint because I'm really not 100% on what I want to do with everything.
You might want to move your hands up just a bit.
Oh,
there you go.
Good call. All
right. Username. Let's go old school.
What's old school?
Well, this is my old middle school. See, it's not taken. JFP 2005. Nostalgia.
Nice.
Okay. Password works.
Yeah, don't.
Not gonna share that.
Don't announce that.
I got Twitch for Twitch Plays Pokemon. Now that I'm remembering it, so I'm guessing my username has something to do with that.
Okay.
Which I don't remember.
Gotcha. No worries, man.
Twitch Plays Pokemon. Speaking of Pokemon.
Yeah, I think Nintendo, in my opinion, they lead when it comes to quality of game.
Right.
when it comes to understanding the market and understanding
their consumers.
Yeah, and understanding the technology, like the console game.
Oh, there's streets behind when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Streets behind. That's a Community thing.
What is that from?
That's from Community. That's it's a not a callback because it wasn't on purpose, but Pierce. That's his like cool. When he's trying to be one of the kids. Streets behind and streets ahead. All right, next. Okay, I'm in. Whew. I'm getting like butterflies. I'm excited to
actually be in the chat.
Yeah, to be part of this.
Yeah, it's not like you're in the video or anything.
Well. Okay.
So what I'm doing right now is this is still just the base. So all this is gonna get a lot of detail on top of it, as well as shading and all that jazz. But I just want to start pulling out some of the details without caking on too much paint. But creating some differentiation between some of the pieces of the miniature. And that actually looks like a little too much paint on there.
Do I have to pick up? Just wanna chat, Twitch. Just let me chat. I don't wanna
Did Reed show up?
Skip. There we go. Okay. We are in.
Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the Switch yet.
You're not? Do you own one?
No.
Okay.
I had a Wii U, and I was happy with it. I think it was a very underrated console, personally.
Chat. That's what I want.
I think...
Ha! Ellen the Emu just said she can sense it, but she said it with the aesthetics. I did it. Guys, I'm one of the kids now. I did it. Oh. I feel so proud of myself.
Welcome, Jake. Welcome. Welcome to the stream that you've been on the video of for...
Hi, gang.
Like what?
Wait, I guess I don't have to type
15 minutes?
Well. Alright, so now...
30 minutes.
Now I'm here.
Hey, what's up, JFP?
Hi, JFP 2005.
Just jumped in.
Alright, so now that I can see what you guys are all talking about, and you guys can no longer gossip about me without me knowing,
everyone was talking.
I think,
for any of you who are just joining, this is Jake.
Hi.
He's a friend, fellow DM, and he's co-hosting with me right now. We're trying some new stuff out.
So, Jest Lou just said, it's official, Pokemon will be for Switch. Because the Switch is the new portable that's replacing the 3DS.
Gotcha.
So, it's like Nintendo's... They're doing it.
So here's my prediction.
Yeah.
Okay? I think the Switch is a half console right now. I don't think it's a full thing yet. I mean, granted, there's not a lot of games for it. But I do think that Nintendo is trying to beat some people to a market.
You're right.
And I think that market is augmented reality.
Oh.
I think the Switch is a preemptive console for for AR games.
See, they've tried AR in the past with not AR. They tried virtual reality with the Virtual Boy.
Well,
but you're talking like
I'm saying like Nintendo's already had success with AR technology. With
the 3DS and that kind of stuff.
Pokemon Go.
Oh, dang, you're right.
AR. Yeah, and it was insanely successful. Although the support was not there to make.
Well, that was
Pokemon
Go could have been so cool.
Oh man, it could have been. It really could have been really cool.
All they had to do was take the Pokemon games and just make it where you walked around, caught Pokemon, and battled others.
They just didn't. They didn't support it with what it needed. So that thing could have been glorious. Okay. getting happy with this.
Uh-oh. DM fight? Who's this? Is there going to be a DM fight? Sharks and Jet style? We're going to get... Let's see.
Oh, no. Is it just Miles being Miles? So Happy says hi. His name's Miles.
Hi, Miles. So is your DM Reed in here, too? Or...
No. Reed's not in here. No.
All right.
I think someone made a comment. Like,
yeah, there he is.
Hi, Reed, because I was expressing an opinion that Reed has expressed in the past. Reed is incredibly critical of things. So I just assume whenever I voice a critical opinion, it's close to Reed's.
Let's see. Okay, so now that I can see chat, let's talk about Kobolds.
Awesome.
So, I'm guessing that if you're here, you have some kind of interest in D&D. Or, painting and the creatures that come with it. I feel like kobolds, and me and Josh were talking about this before we started, are kind of like the staple low-level creature. Them and goblins. And so I feel like if you've played D&D, you fought a kobold at some point.
Probably, especially if you played, what's the first module they came out with for Tyranny of Dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they were the
first.
They were the cannon
the
fodder.
first mobs that you fight. Yeah.
So like, do you have a most memorable kobold story?
Me?
Yeah. We'll start with us, and then we'll see what.
Think here. I don't think so. Not like an incredibly memorable one.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember when we played through. Because I've played through probably the first chapter of Tyranny of Dragons,
right?
Maybe 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
Just because it was everything, getting to learn the
5th edition and learning the rules and yeah.
Was really. We probably played that game, 3 or 4 times with different groups of people, just kind of getting introduced to the format. And I do remember one where. There was one time where we captured a kobold and compelled him to give us information.
Sure.
Which, interestingly enough, so I've DM'd that campaign as well as played in it, and there's actual rules set in
to actually capture
how much information a kobold has and how much information.
Well, they speak Draconic, right? They don't. Well, they might speak Common.
Oh yeah, they can speak Common, but they're not incredibly intelligent creatures.
Right. They have a intelligence of 8, which is a -1 mod.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not the brightest.
Yeah.
Of the low-level enemies.
Then we had one where a guy, I think, in fear of the kobolds, I think tried to turn on the party.
Nice.
So.
Kobolds.
We didn't play with him much longer. That ended.
Well, I mean, what you should have done is just switch to an all-kobold party. Let him win, and just everyone plays as mindless lizard men.
Yeah, who have no intelligence.
Who needs intelligence when you can poke stuff with a stick?
Exactly.
Or, a sling in...
Okay. I think that's a fair base for our first blue kobold. Alright, so we're going to start on the next blue guy. And this little... So I use this kind of Elmer sticky... Well, I dropped part of it. Oh well. I don't know, it's sticky tack kind of stuff. I'm not really sure what it's called. But I use this to kind of hold my miniatures in place on top of a dice box while I'm painting them. This guy's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. He just looks really beefy. Like, he just looks really, really strong. Yeah. He's got a really square face.
No, he's like the Kobold Marauder,
Yeah. Can you see him?
Yeah, leading the charge. Is that like a turtle shell that he has as a shield?
Like a turtle
That's
shell.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this is part of it, is these are all, actually these miniatures are lizard men. And they're kind of swamp-like creatures.
They're
the turtle shell and a lot of their clothes and stuff kind of fits that facade. I think it can still pull through with the Kobold feel. Kobolds typically aren't wearing
nice armor.
Oh
yeah, they're the.
So I think it'll work.
I think it gives them kind of a cool vibe. It shows that where they're from, because not all kobolds live in the grasslands.
No,
these are the cool swamp kobolds who come out and pull you into the muck and stuff.
Technically, the only kobolds that would probably be swamp related are that thematically with our chromatic kobolds,
right,
would be the black ones and the green ones, because those dragons are typically in the swampy terrain.
You're right. Hit me with that lore bomb.
Yep. I did my reading.
We have a question from Jest Lou.
Which is, her name's Alyssa in real life.
Cool. From Alyssa at Joshua the Hippie. What did you think of the Greek, Greaek, riding a bull, riding a wave silliness at 1:30 a.m.? Do you know what she's talking about?
Yeah. So, a couple nights ago, I think it was a couple nights ago, I checked it was Saturday night.
Okay.
I checked my Twitter at 1:40. Just it was getting late. I was getting ready to go to bed, and I thought, I'll check Twitter before I go to bed. And randomly, so Greg is my character on our podcast.
Cool.
And I see 5 different pieces of fan art with Greg, my character, holding his hammer, Maelstrom.
Nice name.
Thank you. Riding on top of a bull.
Okay.
Cresting over top of a wave. Makes no sense at all. But so I'm seeing it, and she's asking, what did I think?
Yeah.
I thought something weird happened. my first thought was when did I do this? It was first of all when has Greg ever ridden a bull? Because I'm pretty sure he hasn't. And so I still am kind of curious as to the origin of that. I know that Cass was in a what's it called? The chat. There's a oh, Happy. Thanks, man. Thanks for the 10 bits. It was, what was it? What's the chat thing starts with a D?
Discord.
All the kids are using that.
That's what I use.
Yeah, so they were in Discord, and I think somehow someone egged on the idea. So
So Cass the Greater is actually saying, I will tell you how it happened.
Okay.
He knows the lore behind it.
And it's a she, actually.
Oh, she knows the lore behind it. My apologies.
It's alright, man. I think sometimes I refer to people by he all the time when I don't know what they are.
Story time with Cass. You're right. Here we go. Everyone gather around the campfire.
Yeah, well, we probably got to talk while she's typing it out here.
Oh, you're right. we can't just sit by and
wait. Okay, I think
we'll just hand over the stream to her. And
yeah. This is now the Cass Storytime stream.
Oh.
Also, Josh paints a little.
Looks like we have
Frozen.
Painting screen has, yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and do the reboot again.
Cool.
Run it through.
Stick with us.
We can. This is perfect time for Cass.
Right, here we go. She's the DM now. Everyone pay attention. Alright, so I want to go quit, rip, quick time. Then
Ellen, full caps rage. Just tell the story.
I'm all for the dramatics. Let's see where this goes.
The suspense. Cass, the longer that it takes you to type that out, the
less time you're gonna have.
The more you're building up to something.
It has to be good, or we're just gonna cut you off.
Yeah. So, like documentaries. I love documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
A documentary I absolutely loved was I think it was called Batman and Bill. Do you know this documentary?
No, I don't.
It's about the actual creator of
Batman. Cool.
who like nobody really knew about, and he died kind of in obscurity, with a guy who basically just kind of stole Batman from him. It's a really sad story, but the documentary was beautiful, and the payoff was fantastic. Then, the documentary I like to refer to that has horrible payoff was the what's the comic book series with the tiger and the kid?
Tiger and the Kid. Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes, thank you. Okay, it skipped my brain. Calvin and Hobbes. There's a Calvin and Hobbes documentary on Netflix that sucks. It sucks so bad because the payoff is awful. We're with.
It's not showing up again.
Still not working out.
We're back in action.
All right, we're working.
All right, Cass, you had your break. Had enough time to type it all in.
And 10 people stayed with me.
I can narrate if that's what we want. Let me prepare the vocal cords.
All of that theater training that you said you've had.
Oh, here we go.
It's time to bring all that into.
All right, Cass, I need you to type it like Shakespeare would. All right. So let's I
only read Shakespeare.
I only read Shakespeare.
That's ridiculous.
I've never read a modern book in my entire life.
I literally have no idea what you just said. So, fun thing about voices, the voice actor who did, who was the guy in Star Wars? Boss Nass.
Oh, Richard Nixon.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, Richard Nixon, the classic.
Richard Nixon didn't do the voice of
Do
Boss
we know
Nass.
that for sure?
Yes. We definitely know that
Chat,
for sure.
Back me up here.
No, don't back him up.
I don't know. What's his name?
But he said in an interview, he said the reason he thinks people enjoyed his character and found it entertaining and didn't like Jar Jar Binks was because the dude who voiced Jar Jar Binks didn't try and stay legible.
Right.
Like his dialogue was very hard to fully understand, and he went so goofy and it became unrelatable. Whereas the Boss Nass guy, even though it was really goofy and obnoxious, he still made it.
Well, he was
audible and understandable and kind of obnoxious.
Gosh, was he in episode 2? Because I
don't think so.
Poor Naboo just got. They took Padme and then they just cut out the rest of the Naboo plotline from the movies going forward.
It didn't last very long. Here, let me make sure. Are we in focus here?
Yeah. Bring yourself more center so I guess with the right for you. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, we're probably there. We go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That looks good.
My hands are coming in from beneath or above.
You are beneath.
Okay. Good deal. Solid.
All right, we're back in action. Round 2. Or I guess. All right.
Way too much.
Cass?
Has the story come out finally?
You're on.
The long-anticipated tale?
It's been about an hour.
Has it really?
Or 4.
It hasn't even been like a half an hour, right?
We gotta guilt her into it.
Oh my god.
We gotta... She sent it. When did she send? Oh, I had to go back. I have to scroll.
Wait, she sent it in the chat?
I don't know.
Or did she email it? I'm very confused.
She sent it in parts. The narrative story, the chapters. She's redoing it. Okay, you have to give each one a chapter name.
Cass, when you're saying you're sending it, where are you sending it? I don't know where to look for it if you're sending it somewhere other than Twitch right now.
Shadow Taxes has an insightful comment on the Jar Jar Binks controversy.
Okay.
People
There's not a lot of controversy. He's just not liked.
Well, I, for one, love Jar Jar. People really hated Jar Jar because he was the easiest thing to point to. Something was wrong with the prequels, but they just couldn't put their finger on it. So Jar Jar was the fall guy. Jar Jar...
He did become a lightning rod. I will totally give you that.
Jar Jar is innocent. No. He was the best part of the prequels.
No, he was not.
Everyone loved him.
No.
It was like they took the Ewoks and then, bumped up their part.
Nope.
Okay, here we go. Chapter 1. Do we have a chapter name, Cass? We need one of those.
Just read it, man. We've been waiting for this so long. Don't wait for it.
We're building the tension. All right, so Reed didn't stream Saturday night, and me, Ellen, Miles, Ozzy, my sister, and Alyssa were all in the Discord voice chat talking. I wanted to draw Grayek riding the Beholder. Oh, here we go. Riding the Beholder. Oh, God, it's going so fast. Grayek riding the Beholder at the front of the flood from the most recent episode of Sneak Attack. So,
okay.
Because of how stinking cool that image is. And I was looking up reference pictures for it, and as person on a jet ski cresting a wave, boats cresting a wave, and surfers cresting a wave. Okay. I was telling them that I was looking those reference pictures up. Ellen is like, it would really be more like a person riding a bull cresting a wave. Oh, so it's all a meta joke. And of course, I'm like, well, now I have to draw that. So I started drawing it, and I got to the point where I was about to draw Grayek, and I was like, Alyssa, in the name of all that is holy, please draw Grayek for me. And then Ozzy is like, wait, we should all 5 draw Grayek on a bull on a wave. It was a group effort.
Wow.
Then I was like, guys, we have to. And we all have to post them at the same time and tag Sneak Attack, Reed, and Josh, and have no other context at all. In about half an hour or so, we cranked out 5 different Grayeks riding bulls, riding waves, and we were cracking up the entire time we were drawing. We didn't think you'd see them until the morning, and we all had a heart attack when all of a sudden you popped up in my notifications, and we were crying with laughter. Alyssa literally had to take her glasses off because she was crying, and I literally could not stop laughing until I fell asleep. Apart from prom, best night of my life. Making memories.
Wow.
Worth the story.
Alyssa, that was, wow.
See, now you have, this really cool,
That was really great. Okay, you know what? Stream paid off.
It paid off.
The payoff.
10 points to Cass.
The payoff. You meet the hype was real, but the hype was worth it.
Man, that was like.
And you know what? In all sincerity, I posted that because I thought it was hilarious and fun, and the fact that you guys got such joy from the stupid repost that I made of your funny pictures seriously makes me incredibly happy. That means so much. Making people laugh is probably one of my favorite things in the world. It's one of my favorite things that we do on Sneak Attack. And so for real, from the heart, I really appreciate that.
And now Greg has this cool legend that, is it true?
The bull wave?
Or is it just this undercover story
and
that everyone whispers?
Now I'm
Uh-oh. We've gone white screen.
Oh, that's just me.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's just my fault. Sorry, everybody. We're back. Camera went to sleep. One of these days I'm going to get a better camera for this, guys.
So, that, you know what? 10 out of 10 story.
10 would recommend.
It was a group effort.
There's
symbolic.
Teamwork was involved.
Teamwork. Everyone was working together.
Yeah.
There was, a moral, which was...
What was the moral?
Cass, what was the moral? Every good story needs a moral.
You can't just say there was a moral and there not be a moral.
I'm sure there was. I'm just not smart enough to think of it, okay? So, Cass, think of a moral. Think of chapter names. I want it bound and on my desk by Wednesday morning. We're publishing it.
There's not a big rush because Jake doesn't have a desk yet.
You're right. But
someday, when he has a desk, hereto forthwith, it will be on his
better
desk.
Be there
on a Monday.
I'm gonna go full Daily Bugle, and you're gonna be Spider-Man, and I'm gonna be J. Jonah Jameson.
JJJ.
And and I'm gonna be the cool Spider-Man original JJJ.
There was a cool JJJ.
Yes. Simmons. What's his name? Oh, he was in
Peter Simmons?
No. Gosh, what's his name? He was in Oz. And he was also in
You're still talking movies here.
Yeah. Chat, help me out. Gotta wait.
You're talking about DeFranco?
No, I'm is his last name Simmons? Who played J. Jonah Jameson in the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire? Was it?
Okay, now you're using the Tobey Maguire references. We're getting into a whole nother.
We're going deep.
Dark area here of movies.
Oh, look at this guy. Movies. He's coming out cool.
Yeah, this one's turning out really good. I think I'm gonna go back at. I was telling Jake during the technical difficulties that I want to brighten these ones up because I know they're gonna get dark again. So I'm kind of edging toward the lighter colors now.
Also, we have a name for it's J.K. Simmons. He's the bald guy with kind of a long face. He was in Whiplash. That's the movie I was thinking of.
Gotcha.
All right, thank you. Libum31, LBIM31. Sorry for butchering your name. Cass wants you to tell Reed that story.
Well, we'll see, Cass. Reed is very critical of stories. So, the best you could probably hope for from Reed would be a 3 out of 5.
Wow.
When Reed says a movie is 3 out of 5, it means you should definitely go see that movie.
Okay, so what was the last 3 out of 5 movie that you know of?
What was it? Oh, Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. Go see it. Really good.
Yeah. However, there is a movie that came out that Reed gave a pretty much perfect review of.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, recent movie?
Literally, really.
Okay, then let's go Blade Runner.
That's the one.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to.
That movie is, in my opinion, almost a completely perfect film.
I think, yeah, I've heard that it's just like an art house movie.
It did not get the traction that it deserved, but here's the deal. It's going to exist for forever.
Right.
Like, this is a movie
cult classic?
Yes, this is a movie that people will use to teach other people how to make movies right.
Nice.
It is really good.
See, I have a bunch of friends in the film school at UNL, and they said the same thing.
Oh, right on.
Already, they're using that as like a...
I'm glad that my opinion is matching up with film school.
You're a professor. You have the credentials, and I think it's time that you just
I've been doing video as my job for 7 years now. 6 or 7 years now.
It's still in theaters, yeah?
Yes.
So I should probably bite the bullet and go see it.
Definitely need to go see it.
See, I just have such an aversion to theaters.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, now with the Dream Lounges and stuff, it's kind of cool.
It's awesome. You don't gotta wait in lines anymore.
Last movie I saw in theaters was It, which I guess wasn't too long ago.
Okay. Did Kelsey see that with you guys?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
We were the only two who weren't freaking out. Like, everyone else was, like...
terrified?
We had the worst seats in the entire theater. We were front row to the far right.
Oh, that's gross.
So, like, we had to, like, strain our necks to... It was a good movie, though. I really enjoyed it.
Stephen King, man.
He's
Guy's weird.
the best.
Real weird, but he writes good stories.
Let's see what chat.
There's something about understanding human psyche that I feel like makes some authors and writers write really weird stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think King had his whole, like, like in the 80s, he got real weird with it.
Yeah.
Was it the 80s? I have no idea what I'm talking about. But like It, or what's the book with the crazy car?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it though.
But yeah, so it's like he can take anything and just make it kind of spooky.
Yeah.
It's real cool. Grayek will become an actor, is what Happy says. Who's Alyssa? Is that right? Gotta learn.
No, Happy is Miles.
Miles, sorry. Well,
you're getting to know everybody.
One of these days,
introducing yourself.
I'm really good with names, so all I have to do is put the username to the name, and I'll forget, but maybe I'll remember someday. See what I did there? I don't.
Night, Alyssa. Thanks for hanging out. She's going to bed.
Good night. Thanks for turning in. Thanks for sticking around too. Means a lot.
think we're getting close on being done with this base for the blue guys. It's really rough. I like to say this is when it's kind of ugly because I'm really just pasting on the kind of what it will be just the bottommost layer of paint. So there's going to be all kinds of detail on top of this. I just want to make something that looks kind of more dynamic to paint on top of.
He looks good. I'm digging that.
This is interesting to me. So this guy's just so much more spiky. I love this miniature.
Yeah, no,
this has to be one of my absolute
He
favorites.
looks like a boss. Like, I'd be afraid to fight him.
I just love the square head and the really defined muscles.
I like how he has, like, arrows on his back.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're javelins.
No bows.
Might be a javelin. Is that something kobolds...
I think they're arrows. Or maybe they are javelins. Check the... Well, they're not kobolds.
They're lizard men. Okay, so we gotta check the lizard men pulling out the handy-dandy monster manual.
Okay.
Alright.
So next what we're going to do is we're going to put in a wash. Or you could call it a shade, which is going to go over the entire miniature. And we'll actually... probably have to move on to some of the other miniatures because we're doing this. Because you need to give the wash at least 45 minutes to dry.
Also, it turns out that we've been calling them lizard men.
Lizard folk.
Lizard folk. Yeah. That's their proper name.
Yeah.
We've been calling them by their street name. 204. Also, same guy who gave me J.K. Simmons. Libim31 says the car movie was Christine, which is correct. I thank you for jogging our memories.
Dude,
he's on fire.
With the answers.
He's sitting there with, like, his dictionary open, ready to, like, flip through.
So this brush is what I like to refer to as my utility brush. I use it for almost everything. It's a Zem Series 3200 Kolinsky round, and it's a number 2. So, good brush, would recommend.
Well, first off, check it out. We got your guy
with the turtle shield and everything.
Yeah, check it out. Oh, there he is. We got our lizard folk, and those are, in fact, javelins.
Nice.
So,
that's
wow.
really cool.
He has, like, this cool, like, on the shield... it's the shield, right? But then he also has, like, those spikes on it. So he can bash people with it. That looks gnarly.
That's pretty intense.
If you guys can see that.
Okay, so we're using what's called Drakenhof Nightshade. It's a blue shade. And I'm just going to kind of toss it on all this. What it should do is, it's going to look like it's just saturating the color a lot more. But really it's bringing it all down a shade. So once this dries, it's going to look a lot darker everywhere. So the reason I would suggest, if you're painting minis, to use, if you're going to use a shade like this, definitely do it before you add too much detail. It's okay, I think, to add some highlights and lowlights, like you want a light area and a darker area, but you do not want to start doing all of your fine detail work and then throw a shade over it, because you're going to lose probably half of the detail of what you're working with. So, I realize we haven't really talked about miniature painting this whole time. I thought I would throw some thoughts in there just for fun.
If chat wants to ask us any miniature painting questions, you down to answer them?
Absolutely.
Cool. So if you guys have any questions about painting, throw them our way.
Be happy to answer.
Yeah, and that's actually cool for me because I can't paint for crud, so this will be good.
And I really think miniature painting is incredibly easy. I think it's basically like the physical version of what's the word I'm looking for? Paint by number.
Oh, sure.
I think it's like the 3D version of that for the most part. A lot of it is just familiarizing yourself with the different tools available and practice. I think some of it too is color theory. I think understanding good color theory will help. And I don't think you have to be an artist by trade to understand color theory. There's a lot of good resources online, to help with that.
It's crazy how that just makes it pop. The colors, and it just looks so...
It's fun, man. It's cool. It makes it look a lot better. However, it will make it look a lot darker. So we are going to lose some of the detail that I've added.
Right.
But it should provide a nice base to start adding detail on top of. That will just continue to like enrich the miniature altogether. So, I am a fan of miniature painting. Told the stream before I could do this and I do this like by myself, just up here in the quiet, listening to music or listening to an audiobook.
Oh, okay. So, Elbim31 is how he told me to pronounce his name. So I'm going to try and get that right now. He says Stephen King lives in the next state over, so he knows way too much trivia. Okay. So if you ever have any Stephen King questions, go to Elbim and he'll set us straight.
Thanks, Elbim. Appreciate that.
Cass the Greater says, by the way, Josh, amazing job getting that episode edited in less than 6 hours. Major props.
Thanks. That was a long night. We came back. I came back from a hunting trip I was on, and we recorded that night. So I ended up having to edit the night of the recording, which was rough. So luckily we recorded quickly and we got it done pretty fast. So I was able to let's do red next. I was able to get to work on it at about 10:30. So I got it done, I think, around 1:30.
Dang!
Yeah.
All right.
So, however, I didn't add... There are a lot of sound effects I wish I would have added to the episode.
Sure.
For the sake of my own
just
sanity.
You don't want to be up till 8 in the morning.
Yeah, also, the longer I work on it while I'm tired, the more chance there is that I'm going to, end up leaving something in that I shouldn't, or, an awkward pause, or... Yeah, so... I didn't want to chance it.
All right.
Jake... What's your favorite career in
That's tough.
Edge of Empire?
That's really tough. Okay, so Star Wars, especially Age of the Empire, is tough for me because I played... I'm a big MMO guy.
Really?
Yeah. World of Warcraft, and then...
Do you watch BlizzCon?
Oh, well, I've been dabbling. I've watched the cinematics for everything.
A lot of cinematics this year.
Yeah.
They surprised everybody with the WoW cinematics.
Yeah, and then the Classic is coming, which has me super excited.
Looks really cool.
Because I was like a baby when Classic came out, and I remember sitting at my computer and drooling over just being able to create my own character and go on crazy adventures. So super excited for Classic, but we'll talk about WoW in just a sec because I want to answer this question.
Yes.
So I played the Star Wars The Old Republic role-playing game. The MMO, which was BioWare's.
That's a newer one, right?
Yeah, it came out, well, I think newer in regards to World of Warcraft. I think it's pretty old now.
Well, I know that they came out with with an MMO, a Star Wars MMO when I was in
Galaxies?
Yes.
Yeah,
when I was in high school.
That was the best.
That was really fun.
Anyway, I played the Smuggler and Bounty Hunter in Edge of the Empire. In Star Wars The Old Republic. So when I started playing Edge of the Empire, I'm a career DM, but the characters that I would build to kind of test stuff were always, I think my first character that I built for Edge of the Empire was a bounty hunter, and I went down the survivalist track, because I thought that was kind of a cool, I had this really cool idea of a character who, lived on the fringes, and, only came into town to take bounties, but then went back out and
nice.
Camo and all that kind of stuff. So that was probably my first Edge of the Empire character. But I like playing kind of charismatic characters because it lets me get away with murder.
Being talky.
Right.
Being talky.
And so the Colonist Politico is probably my personal favorite. I also like that there's kind of a class that's not combat oriented completely. And that it kind of lets me, I don't want to say derail everything, but it lets me, talk my way out of situations instead of relying on my blaster.
Right on.
So yeah, Edge of the Empire, Colonist Politico. Force and Destiny, if I'm just going to go ahead and answer that, is probably the Guardian, because that's, again, what I played in the MMO. So, bringing that stuff over.
Very cool. If we're talking Star Wars MMOs,
yeah,
So I devoted a good chunk of, I think, my sophomore or junior year of high school to playing Galaxies.
Nice.
That game was incredible.
It was amazing.
When it started. Like, I played it right when it first came out.
It was classless.
Yeah.
You could go around. Oh.
And the deal was, like, becoming a Jedi or becoming a bounty hunter was incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
It took a lot to get that.
It was
later on when they patched it so that, like, anybody
could be a Jedi.
Yeah.
It was character creation.
And that was I mean, I get it because that increases demand. And
well, it was WoW. They were WoWifying the game.
So, but before then, it was super rare. And I literally remember. So it was in the first 3 months that game came out, and I had just ported into a planet, and I was in the port. I was in like the port area, and I literally saw a Jedi run by with his lightsaber out, deflecting blasters.
That's so cool.
He runs out of the room, and no joke, a bounty hunter with his jetpack flies
in,
shooting at the guy, and they both run by me. And I remember being like, is this real? Like, is this real? What's happening?
That's so cool. It wasn't a cutscene.
It wasn't like a sequence. I wasn't in an instance. Man. Like, it was literally just native in the game. 2 players that were just duking it out.
See, I love WoW. But at the same, I'm so sad that the MMOs now are just theme park. They've taken the WoW method of doing an MMO.
They've taken all the WoW
out
of playing MMOs.
And so they
the WoW factor's gone.
It's like the one that I'm playing right now and that I'm devoting all my time to and playing with my friends is Elder Scrolls Online.
Great game.
Yeah, you play? Or you've heard?
I got in on the beta because I loved Skyrim.
And if you go into it thinking that it's going to be Skyrim Online, you're going to be disappointed. But even then, it's such a breath of fresh air. And it's still that theme park, but there's still kind of like a...
Night, Miles.
Oh.
See you, buddy.
Bye, Miles.
But yeah, keep going.
There's still that theme park, and this is nerd alert. I'm a big, role player. Which I guess makes sense.
When you play in an MMO, you attach.
I'm on those role play the servers, and WoW. I probably stopped doing raids and stuff after Mists of Pandaria.
Okay.
Which, if you guys know WoW, that was like the, I want to say fourth. No, Burning Crusade, Wrath, Cataclysm, Mists. So fourth. Fourth expansion pack. And then until Legion, the beginning of Legion, I just role played hardcore, ran a guild.
How many people did you have in your guild?
A lot, way more than I should have because I was not responsible. No, it was. We were. I think there was an average of 50 players. Which was pretty good, and especially because they were all active and we were all hanging out, playing our characters.
Good for the guild.
We were I played Paladin, and we were a holy order that ran around and fought undead, and it was a lot of fun. I miss the WoW days. And now that I'm saying all this, I'll probably go home and install it, which my bank account is going to hate me for.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They will never go free to play.
No. Well, and they don't have to.
They're the only MMO that doesn't have to. Literally, every other MMO that comes out eventually has to go to free to play.
Oh, that's a cool color.
That red is really showing up strong.
I think free to play is funny when it comes to MMOs. So, are you an MMO guy? You say you play Galaxies.
So I was way more into MMOs in high school.
Sure.
That was that was my jam. I had a couple friends that got me into them, so I would literally, and I went through a season full on nerd where I just didn't hang out with people. I didn't really have.
You had your virtual friends.
Friend group, so I would MMO pretty much everything. And any MMO I could download on my computer and get for free. I'd be playing it.
Nice.
I wasn't really good at becoming good at MMOs.
Same.
So I would pretty much download 3 different ones, make characters, jump in, play for a month or two, and then
see that was. I with my Paladin was the only class in WoW I ever got good at. And good is being generous. Because I was always the guy that they would throw on if like any of the other raiders couldn't make it. I was like the bench warmer.
Gotcha.
And I loved it because I got to walk around and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm on a raiding team. We're pretty good." And everyone would look at me like, "No, you're not. You know, like you're the guy we put in if Nathan can't make it." I was.
And you were in charge of the guild?
No, this was my raiding guild, and then I had my roleplay guild where I was like top dog.
Gotcha.
Played on Cenarian Circle and Ravenloft. No. Oh
Ravenloft,
gosh.
that's a D&D thing.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking Chad, if you can help me out, I'll love you. It's the Raven. It's based off of the I think they're goblins. It's okay. Cenarian Circle was my main, and then for role-playing, I was on Moonguard, which was a good time.
Right on, man. Yeah, WoW's a fun game.
It's life sucker, though.
It is a life sucker. You really, you digs deep.
I need to talk myself out of it now, because I
there are better things to do with your life.
Exactly.
Trying to help you out here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now what's this? Quick BeamX just joined chat, I think. What's up, fellas?
What's up, Quick? Welcome. This is Jake.
Hi.
He's joining as my co-host for the stream today.
Yeah.
And we'll probably see him in the future.
Cool.
I also want to start streaming more. So.
Ooh.
Rather than once a week, I'd love to start doing it.
Quick just asked about Divinity Original Sin. Have you heard of that?
Divinity Original Sin.
Yeah, this RPG. It's real. It's like old school RPG, so it's turn based.
Okay.
But you know it's. So the second one just came out, but the first one, or are you talking about? Because there's Divinity Original Sin, but then there's also the new ones, right? That just came out. There's the second one.
Is this on consoles?
No, I think it might be on console.
PC?
I'm a PC gamer.
Okay.
So,
Master Race over here.
Oh yeah, got the blowing hair and everything. Second one came out, but I just started playing the first one on Xbox. Yeah, the first one is super good. That game blew me away because I played like Baldur's Gate and stuff. And it was like Baldur's Gate Reborn, and that was really cool.
It's like a D&D theme game?
Yeah. It's really good. If you can find it on cheap sometime, and I think it's probably on PS4, and I think that's what you have, right?
Yep. On PS4,
so you should consider it. Don't buy it if it's not on sale though.
Okay.
Which, well, you know, maybe it depends on if you're into that kind of stuff. It's really good. Quick. I would wholeheartedly recommend that game to anyone who's into RPGs. The best part about it though is that it's co-op. So it's you can have you and your friend, or you know, you and Kelsey could play. It could be like you create your own character, you do your classes and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Very D&D based, and I think you both control your character, and you can, you know, there it does the to do conversations. It's like you do rock paper scissors. So the two of you can like pick, and then you have to do like rock paper scissors to see whose answer gets to go first.
Oh, okay.
It's really fun. Combat's hard. Okay. And so if you like a good RPG challenge, environments are really important too, because it's like you throw down like sludge bombs and fire and oil and.
Okay, and the different environments affect.
Yeah.
How effective.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's really good, especially if you just like that hardcore old school RPGs. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
It'd probably be hard getting Kelsey into that.
Yeah, she. But at the same time, the story's really good.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So
that's kind of her deal breaker. Is she's gotta love the story if she's gonna play it.
Quick thinks that they went overboard on the effects, on the element effects, which I don't entirely disagree with. I think that they found like a really cool concept, and then just kind of like we're like, oh, we can use this for everything. But yeah, it's good.
Right on.
Mm. So this is the red kobold.
This is the red. I'm starting the red, guys.
It's got the cool horns.
Horns facing backwards. Yep. These guys. So, Jake.
Yeah. Wow.
Forgot your name.
That's cool.
I'm really bad at the names.
It's okay, John.
It was a brain fart. What do you know about like dragon lore when it comes to the chromatic dragons?
Okay, so I know each dragon, the coloring determines its like morality, right? So, or is that partially? So, like a green dragon is more benevolent. No.
So there's two general groups of dragons.
Right.
There are chromatic dragons,
and then there's the metallic, right?
Yes. And metallic, and generally, chromatic means they are probably more in the evil bent.
Hold on. We're saying that the camera is a little bit out of focus, so we might want to. Thanks, quick.
Got it.
There we go.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, that looks good.
So chromatic are typically of the evil.
Oh, right, and then the metallic are the.
Yeah, and metallic are typically good. Generally, you can associate that. It's not necessarily that the chromatic are all evil.
Well, don't they each inhibit a different sin? Isn't that kind of their thing? Like green dragons are more greedy, or here, let me pull it up. I have the monster manual.
I don't believe so. I don't think so. There may have been a version where they were, but I don't think this current iteration.
I might be thinking of a different game too. So
dragons have a lot of lore across a lot of different games.
I might be thinking not Dragon Age. What am I thinking of? Probably nothing.
But typically dragons, especially evil dragons, have been known in a lot of lore to be hoarders of gold.
Well, that goes back all the way to The Hobbit.
Greedy by nature, yeah. And even before Tolkien, included a Drake in one of his stories.
Mm-hmm.
That was lore that was established, I think, even before Tolkien. Lore.
Probably, yeah.
So Tolkien did set the standard for a lot of fantasy, though. So I don't want to say that he wasn't the first one to do.
No, I mean, because isn't that a big theme? That's even a big theme in the old fairy tales and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, hoarding the princess for the gold and the brave
there's
knight.
Something about dragon, there's something similar to dragon lore in almost every single culture.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. That's something that makes me go okay, there were big things.
Right.
You know what I mean? In the past.
All right, let's see. Dragons. True dragons are winged reptiles of ancient lineage and fearsome power. All right. Chromatic dragons. Okay, so actually, these are what the chromatic dragons. So they're driven by greed. They're creatures of ego. Have dangerous layers. And then Tiamat is their
goddess.
Is their Tiamat.
The Dragon Queen. She's bad news, man.
I saw a really cool, gigantic Tiamat mini. Or not mini, but sculpture at Gauntlet, actually.
Oh, really?
Which is our local gaming store.
Do you go there much?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's awesome. I want to be there more.
It's one of those places where...
Do you ever go during the game nights?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I haven't played, but I'll go and I'll hang out and I'll just kind of see what's going on. They have... Well, actually, that's where I bought all my books. Because my 4th edition books, I bought them all used from Gauntlet.
Okay.
So that's how, Gauntlet's kind of what got me, well, not into the hobby, but supplied my hobby. Let's see. Yeah, so, I go to Gauntlet a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a while.
Shout out to local game stores.
Yeah, friendly local game stores. Check them out.
For real. Kels and I will buy our board games from them just because even though there's less deals and stuff, we could buy it off of Amazon for a lot cheaper.
Also, you can get that repertoire between you and the owners and that kind of stuff.
You get to know them.
And you get, I've gotten free, was it, I think it was Christmas time, we were there, and they had you roll a D20, and it determines the discount.
I remember that. Yeah.
So that was really cool, and I got a nat 20, so I got...
You got a nat 20?
Uh-huh.
I think I got a 4.
Well, the dice aren't always fair. So I got a huge discount off a set of dice, and it was really cool.
That's awesome. It determined your percentage of discount, I think.
Yeah.
That's what it did. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was cool.
3rd edition had, Quick says, more chromatic dragon stuff.
Well, 5th has quite a bit. Like if you look in the monster manual, they've got a thing for literally every single dragon.
Black dragons.
3rd edition may have actually had like a book all about dragons, just because 3rd
edition had a book for everything.
It was out for so long. Yeah.
Blue dragons, green dragons look so cool.
They do look really cool. Fun fact: there is a series, book series called Dragonlance.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of it?
Yes. Don't know much about it.
Old D&D series. It's the first D&D novelization that ever happened.
Cool.
Written by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, and it's awesome. It's really awesome. The reason that they made the series was because they and the world of Dragonlance was created because they didn't have a fantasy world in Dungeons and Dragons that incorporated dragons a lot. So which is which is kind of laughable, but they wanted to. So Dragonlance incorporates a ton of dragons.
I homebrew all my stuff, so I'm not a huge D&D like lore guy.
Yeah.
But like, what's the default setting that they set all of their stuff in? Because it's the Forgotten Realms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now it's Forgotten Realms. In the past it's been other things.
Because I think that was Baldur's Gate, right? That's when all that was said.
Yep. And that is what's the name of the guy who Ed Greenwood is the creator of the Forgotten Realms. Guy looks like a wizard. He's got a big old white beard.
Well, all the original D&D guys do.
Yeah.
Well, they're all like the old war gamers, you know.
Yep.
There's a great book called Of Dice and Men.
Oh yeah, I've read it.
Yeah, really great.
Book. Definitely should check that out if you're looking for a fun book about Dungeons and Dragons. And I like it because it jumps back and forth between a kind of fantasy narrative of the author's actual home game,
and then his.
Well, and then it talks about like D&D.
I think I read it in about like a day.
Really?
Yeah, I got really into. I was on vacation, so I didn't have anything else to do. So I just sat down. I was actually in California at the time.
Okay.
So I was on the beach and I had my book, and it was really enjoyable.
That's awesome.
So yeah, if you guys are ever interested in the history of D&D, check out Of Dice and Men. Yeah. I don't know who the author is. Probably could look it up, but can't push that space bar. So yeah, Of Dice and Men, really good. Check it out.
Yeah. What was I thinking?
Oh yeah, sorry, totally went off on a tangent.
No.
Forgotten Realms. All the original creators look like
yeah.
wizards.
Yep. They're all those older fellows with big old beards.
I don't think I ever put my party up against a dragon while I was running 4th.
Well, that's tough. I don't think a party should face a dragon until they're much higher leveled, and a lot of D&D parties don't ever
get to that.
Hang out long enough to get to that. Yeah. The fun thing is, I know Reed, our DM on Sneak Attack, he'll throw it like a pseudo dragon, not like a pseudo dragon.
One of those wormlings,
but he'll throw like a dragon construct or something that like some evil gnomes made, or you know what I mean? Or he threw an ice dragon at us.
Cool.
That was like made of ice. On the podcast actually, but yeah, dragons are it's a touchy thing because they're super powerful. But that's one of the things I liked about Dragonlance is dragons were just like a regular part of life in that series. So there were dragon riders and all that stuff. That was one of the first books that got me really into D&D.
I've always run very low fantasy games.
Really?
Yeah, because that's I like the Witcher series.
Yeah.
And obviously A Song of Ice and Fire and that kind of stuff are my main inspirations.
Yeah. Those are still high fantasy.
Well, I mean, they're high fantasy, but you're not going to run into monsters on the street. And
not super fairy tale.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
The Witcher especially is pretty high fantasy, but there's such a realistic like quality to it with like the politics and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I like running really political games. So
makes sense why Kelsey enjoys you as a DM.
And so I don't really I wish I used more monsters, but at the same time I just don't feel like they fit my world. So I'm really tempted to just create, and right now I'm working on stupidly calling it my magnum opus, where I've created this world, I'm working on it, that actually Kelsey's probably going to be in, because we're switching from Edge of the Empire to a 5th edition campaign.
Cool.
I'm thinking I'm gonna up the magic just a bit, because I want to play with some of the more creatures, like beholders. I want to play with. I never really worked with beholders, and
beholders can be used in really unique ways,
right?
Rather than just like a crazy big monster.
Just not throwing them.
Incredibly intelligent,
right?
And you can have them be actual like.
There's
like a mastermind kind of thing.
I think it's it's either in this or in Volo's guide, where it goes about how like what having a beholder in the area will do to like the surrounding county. And I thought that was really cool because it'll give the residents like nightmares and that kind of stuff. And
interesting.
Let's see.
That reminds me of the quest in Skyrim.
The
staff.
Is it Dawn Star?
Yes.
Where you go off with the priest of Mara.
That guy was my favorite companion.
He was so fun.
Yeah.
My favorite companion was. It's a tie. Lydia, just because she's the OG. But then also, I really liked hanging out with Mercury, the guy that you get in the Rift Inn, who's the mage. Because he was super full of himself, but when you pick him up, he's like pretty weak, you know?
Uh-huh.
Or Eric the Slayer, who's the guy from Rorikstead, who he's like the farm boy, the Luke Skywalker, who wants to go out on an adventure. All right, gotta find Beholder. 26.
Yeah, I enjoy high fantasy. That's probably my favorite stuff to work in. I've got a homebrewed world that is very high fantasy.
20. Oh, here we go. Beholder. All right. So a Death Tyrant's lair. So when a beholder dies, they can become these thing called Death Tyrants.
Just like an undead.
Right, like a lich beholder.
Yeah.
And so there's lair actions. When fighting inside its lair, a Death Tyrant can invoke the ambient magic to take their lair action. On initiative count 20, losing initiative ties, the Death Tyrant can make one lair action to cause one of the following effects. An area that is a 50-foot cube within 120 feet, the Tyrant is filled with spectral eyes and tentacles to creatures other than the Death Tyrant. That area is lightly obscured in difficult terrain until initiative count 20 on the next round. So basically, they if they're in their lair or if they're in like their area, they have all these added effects and that kind of stuff. Because they're more than just like like you said, than just like a big boss to fight. They're kind of like they kind of control the area around them.
There's a beholder in the Forgotten Realms, who is the leader of. He's a crime lord of a major city, and he lives in the sewers. But he's kind of an information broker.
Oh, cool.
So like that to me is a fun use of a beholder. That it's not.
It's not just
I'm a crazy monster with a big eye. Yeah,
right.
But it's like an actual it has actual motives and goals and an agenda. I also think beholders are great. One of the things I love using beholders for are ancient guardians of areas of power.
Oh yeah.
So
are you talking more elemental, or are you talking like?
No, I'm talking like in a deep dark cave where sacred stone is kept. In order to enter the actual cave, you first have to go through a beholder who's lived there for hundreds of years.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tasked by a god or a demigod to
kind of. Is it Temple of Doom where they're they had to pick the goblet from?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
like one of those guys.
Yep. He can give him different tasks and stuff, but ultimately you end up having to battle him.
Yeah.
And it's super epic.
To get his awesome loot.
Yeah.
Elbim says, my DM had my group meet a copper dragon, and now we have to find his mom. So just because you meet a dragon doesn't mean you have to slay them. That's a good point, especially with the metallic dragons.
Yes.
Because they're usually pretty chill guys.
Some metallic dragons are incredibly dangerous to humans. Some of them don't consider humans as much of anything, or smaller creatures. It's not that they hate them or are evil. It's just that they don't really value their life.
They're mortal.
Yeah, they're just kind of lesser beings. So you want to be careful, even if it's a metallic dragon. You don't just buddy up to him.
Don't let Copper Mama Dragon push you around, okay? Elbin?
Let them push you around.
Oh, yes, do that, actually.
Yeah, be meek. Like, they're freaking dragons.
They'll just, extinguish you. Like, you won't even stand a chance. She'll be like, she'll take her baby back and be like,
Dragons are dangerous.
Quick Beam says, Elbim, yeah, it's true. I don't really trust my players not to attack it, though. Great point. Actually, one of my newer players recently told me explicitly that she wants to encounter a dragon, so I'll introduce one coming up. Fun story about dragons. We had a player who, great guy, but kind of a pain in the butt when it came to, sticking to the main story and actually following directions and following the party and that kind of stuff. Well, he decided it'd be fun to walk off into the forest by himself and meditate about whether or not they should free these elven slaves.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, you can do that, but know that you're going to be by yourself and that you're going to not really be paying attention because you're meditating. And he goes, oh, that's fine. And I wanted to prove a lesson, right? Be moral to every story. Mm-hmm. So he went off, and I actually had a dragon lair of a young dragon not far from this city that was kind of being he was kind of a guardian.
Okay.
And so the player's walking around, and he's still very new. And so I wanted him to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't walk off. So he falls down into a crevice, and he sees this dragon. And this dragon tries to speak to him. He goes, you have entered my domain. And, it kind of echoed out. Yeah. And he looks, the player looks at him. He's playing this big, beefy Goliath. And he goes, what is this? And I go, it's a dragon. And he's looking right at you. He doesn't look angry. He goes, well, he's trying to deceive me. Plan of action. I go, great. He goes, I run at him with my axe. And I go, okay, you run at him with your axe, and he swats you aside. And he goes, does it do damage? I go, no, it wasn't a vicious swat. It was just a don't do this, it's stupid. His response is, okay, I'm going to sneak behind him. I go, he knows exactly where you're at. He goes, well, can I get... He's big, right? I go, he's okay sized. He goes, okay, well, I'm going to run behind him real quick and then sneak. I go, okay. Does it. Of course, he fails the sneak attack.
Of course. He's natty 20 and nothing else.
And so what he does is that he goes, okay, I'm just going to hit it with my axe. And I go, dude, you're level 5. You shouldn't be attacking dragons at level 5 by yourself. He goes, well, I think I can do it. I'm a pretty big guy. I go, look, yeah, but you're a barbarian, Goliath, at level 5. You're pretty fresh, okay? He does it anyway.
Oh, man.
What am I supposed to do? I have the dragon turn around. I have the dragon explicitly go, if you attack me again, I will be forced to put you down. And he goes, I can take him. I said, no, you can't. He doesn't even listen. So he attacks the dragon once more. I have the dragon, squash him. And I was like, dude.
Did his character die?
Oh, yeah. He couldn't take it. And that was the last session we played with that guy. We had his body was never found.
Oh my gosh.
The best part was later when the full party met the dragon, they brought up his character. because they had all had to sit there and listen.
They had to watch the stupid fight. Yeah.
And so they brought him up, and they're like, "Yeah, we've been looking for he wasn't really a friend, but this guy who tagged along with us. You're the dragon in this area. Do you know where we can find him?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, he's dead." And the party was like, "Makes sense."
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
So that's my
50-50.
That's my good dragon story.
That's good. I love that. I DM'd a game for Kelsey and some of her friends a while back. The Tyranny of Dragons, and there's a scene in there where a big blue dragon, kind of looks like this guy, but not dead. You can see that there.
Fearsome.
Draco Lich. So you see there's the big old horn that blue dragons have on the front of their head. So similar to what I've done with these guys here. You can see that.
Yeah.
So
it's a little out of focus, but that might just be because of the Draco Lich. Oh, there we go.
Because of depth.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so anyway, so there's a blue dragon who's flying around the city, causing trouble, and the heroes eventually go up on top of the keep, and they confront the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And this is typically like, once you deal 100 damage, the dragon decides, hey, I'm tired, I'm just going to head
Look,
out.
this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah. So there's no way you're going to kill him. But one of the people playing, was playing a half-dragon. Or not a half-dragon.
Dragonborn?
Dragonborn. And he starts speaking Draconic to him. And he rolls a really good charisma. So the dragon stops attacking, starts talking. And he actually talks the dragon into taking off. And I was like, this is so much better than
just having him be
doing
like
combat. Yeah. Which would have been really tough. Like, it would have been a long combat sequence after they just went through the whole fighting through the city, which was a combat sequence. And this is my problem with modules, is because they're so based on you need to acquire at least one level every single chapter,
right,
in order to be successful in the game. So a lot of times they forego good story early on for the sake of just lots of combat, and leveling people up. So I'm a much bigger fan of heavy story. You need to learn the combat. There needs to be some combat moments, but in my opinion, if the heroes can find a solution that is not combat oriented, I'm like, more power to you.
Well, I've never run a. Actually, the only module I've ever ran was for A Song of Ice and Fire, the role playing game.
Okay.
And that was that game is incredibly story heavy, so there wasn't even really like much combat to it. But I've never run a 5e module, and I picked up is it Fendelver? Is that what comes with the Lost Mines?
Yeah.
That's the that's the
just kind of the starter pack.
Yeah, and I was gonna run that for my friends, and I was like, you know what, I'd rather create my own city and my own characters and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I that's how I got into homebrew. Pittsburgh, you can change things up in prepared modules. Yeah, well, I think you have to.
When someone mentioned earlier that a good idea, it's Pittsburgh again, to introduce the dragon in human form.
Ooh.
So dragons, one of the things dragons can do, at least metallic dragons, I don't know if chromatic can,
right,
they can polymorph. And so there's a lot of dragons in literature that introduce themselves primarily as...
Well, that's a big thing in WoW,
human
too.
Or elf. It's a dragon thing.
It's a dragon thing,
dragons
yeah.
can transform and look like humans, yeah. That's how I think a lot of Dragonborn show up.
What's...
Okay, so now we're going to green.
Ooh, cool.
So we got our red guys.
They look good.
The blue guys, I think, are pretty dry, but I'm gonna keep moving. I'm liking seeing the different colors.
Yeah, I think we should get like base coats.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, but once it happened, I was like, all right, this is what we're
doing. Let's see. Yeah, I think if you are to run a module, I don't think you can I think if you don't add some homebrew to it, you're just not gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, you should. What I would suggest, anybody who's, especially if you're DMing for the first time, you've never DM'd before, definitely use a module. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
And, don't lose half of your life on your first DM session trying to come up with a world that's never going to get fully fleshed out. Highly suggest using a module, but read the whole module.
Yeah.
You don't have to read it word for word, but do a skim of the entire story and pick out what bits you really like. See if there's stuff where you go, ooh, I could add some of my own story elements here, or rather than combat, I could present some options that are non-combat to solve this problem here. I think that's the more you can, which this is D&D. The more you can prepare either mentally or like technically, the better you're going to be at being able to kind of DM on the fly.
Right. Well, that's, I'm really lucky because I have like an improv background.
Yes.
Improv theater. So I love when stuff goes wrong because it lets me just kind of be like, oh, this would be fun, and I can change what I had originally planned and just throw that in. Your friend Reed is in the chat now. Reed the DM says pretty much don't do what I did.
Yeah. So Reed, the first time he DM'd, he built a whole homebrew world.
Oh, man after my own heart.
Elros. Elros? Is that right? I can't remember. Fun thing that Reed did, which was really cool. He's probably not going to like that I'm talking about it here on the stream. But, so it was the first game he ever Dungeon Mastered, and I was one of the players. It's the first time I ever played D&D. And he would, after every session, he would chronicle the session in our Facebook group. So, like, we'd play the whole game, right, that week, and then literally that weekend, we would get this, like, giant text thing, text post on Facebook, where we could just go through and read it. So for his last birthday, I was a super cool friend.
Super cool.
And I went back to the Facebook group, grabbed all of the posts, every single one that he ever did, and I made each post a chapter in an actual book.
Wow.
And I self-published it through Amazon's publishing thing. I can't remember what it's called. Something starts with a C. And what does NA stand for, Reed?
North America. You're his best friend in North America.
Or not actually. Is that what he's saying? And so I put all of it. Well, here's the deal. After I put it all together in the Word document, I set it up in book format. It was over 30,000 words.
Dang!
Which is a novella. Like, that's half a novel.
Yeah.
Which was incredible to me. So I formatted it all. I got one of my friends who's a really great artist, and myself, and it means North America, yeah.
Told you!
Thanks. And myself and all the other guys who played in that game to donate some money, and then we paid my artist friend to actually illustrate cover art.
Nice!
So yeah, and I printed it. I made enough copies for everybody who pitched in on the art and Reed. And so yeah, we printed.
That's
our
so
entire,
awesome.
First, like, I think it was like a good solid like year, maybe year and a half, maybe 2 years of a D&D campaign.
Dude, that's so amazing.
In a little book, it's the coolest freaking thing.
Because
Tales of Elros it was so much fun.
See, okay, so me and my friends, one of our greatest. This is my original group.
Reed says he's got over 85,000 words written for Sneak Attack.
Dang!
Yeah,
I mean, that makes sense, though.
It's almost a 3-year campaign at this point. Yeah.
One of our greatest pastimes is sitting down together and trying to, like, piece together what our campaign was like. Starting from level 1 to when we stopped at, like, level 20.
Like, remembering it?
Yeah. Because
you guys went all the way to level 20?
Uh-huh. We were so into it.
How long did you play that campaign?
Well, we played fast and loose with experience.
Okay.
Because we wanted to experience it all.
All the levels.
So, so it was a 2-year campaign. So it was nice and long.
Yeah.
Man, it was fun. But so we'll sit down and we'll spend like 3 hours just trying to piece together what happened. One of these days we're going to have to write it down because it changes every time. And no help to my poor note-taking skills, which is my biggest problem as a DM. It's been too long talking and not enough time writing.
You need to just set up like an audio recording device.
That's actually a great idea.
So you can just listen over it and remember your names and stuff.
Reed says your book was the best gift he's ever received, and I...
Whoa! Thanks, Reed. That's high praise. It's really cool, man. Like, that was... For me, that was, like, kind of also, like, a gift to myself.
See...
Like, because I can always go back and reread it and look over
that'd be so cool.
The memories that I had in my very first D&D experience. Which is, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Man.
Reed officially gives it a 3 out of 10.
Good callback. Good callback. I told him, Reed, that like a 3 out of 10 means it's a movie that you should see. If Reed says it's a 3 out of 10. Good callback. Good. That was a good one.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, so my camera right now, I need to reset the memory. So
we're going to take a quick break? Or are we going to...
No, we don't have to take a break.
Cool. We'll hang out?
Yeah, you're just not going to see anything for a little while, I don't think. So we're going to pop this. I'm
going to run to the restroom again then while you're doing this.
Sure. I'm going to move over to your seat.
Cool.
And, most movies are garbage, but probably worth seeing. True enough, Reed. So, the thing I'm doing right now is, because my camera is not really perfect for this, I have to be recording the whole time, otherwise it'll sleep after like 5-10 minutes. So, I just had to format the card so that all the memory came back, and we could keep rolling. So, here we go. Alright. And for any of you who are joining in on the stream, my buddy Jake is co-hosting with me on the stream. It's kind of a new thing I'm trying out. And so far I'm having a lot of fun getting to chat with Jake rather than just sit here by myself. So.
I'm also going to go put my shoes on so I can warm up my feet.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotta get those.
Go for it. We're about ready to get going again. Okay, we should have the camera back in a moment. And we'll keep going with this here. Alright, cool. We're good to go. So, anyway, Reed is, in my opinion, a really fantastic critic. I do think he's incredibly harsh with his critiques. However, he approaches every single bit of thing he gives criticism from the same level, which in my opinion is what makes a good critic, is consistency. So I can know, based off of what Reed will say, generally how I'm going to feel about that movie, which is that's the kind of people you want to listen to. You want consistent feedback for that kind of stuff. So let's get this back in focus. So, Reed, I hope that's a compliment. Most movies Reed would give a 3. I'd give a 4.5. I thought Baby Driver was a really, really good movie that had a lot of things worth of note. And while I agree it wasn't Edgar Wright's best work, I do think it's still head and shoulders above most cinema that we see. So, yeah. Did you see Baby Driver?
Yeah, loved it.
You know what I loved about that? Did you catch that that the characters were color coded?
No.
Yeah. So in that film, each of the different characters had a primary like a color that was their color.
Oh, cool.
I'm Too Picky. Baby Driver had a ton of good ideas and excellence, but the story script was trash. So the good things he's talking about, one of them is every character was specific to a color. The only 2 characters that were not, we wore pretty much just black and white, was Baby and the girl. And we got a new follower, Mr. Heath N.
Hey, cool, thanks, welcome.
See some of my homemade Twitch animation going on there.
Ooh. I didn't get that on my phone.
That's okay.
So
I catch it because it shows up on the screen there.
Here, somebody else join so I can see.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so Baby and the girl he meets, they don't wear they don't wear colors. They're both wearing black and white. And a lot of what it is is that it's to depict a lot of that duality that Baby has between his life of crime and I think the fact that he tries to stay separated from it. The other thing is the girl he meets will sometimes wear yellow, which is the color that's associated with his mother.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's really good. Like, there's a lot of good cinematic stuff in there.
Well,
but I'll agree with Reed. The writing could have been a lot better, and there are some general story stuff that, in my opinion, just fell flat. But
I think that what that movie did amazingly well, and I think everyone would agree with this, is that just the soundtrack.
Ooh.
And then you pair that up with everything, like Baby's music.
Yep.
The way he would drive, the way, you know...
Every gunshot was on beat with the music.
So good. Mm-hmm. So good. And, you know, a good soundtrack, a good, like, soundscape it makes a really good film for me.
But if you do compare it to movies like Hot Fuzz, it is...
Hot Fuzz!
Is below, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, another fantastic Edgar Wright movie. So, yeah, Edgar Wright is probably one of my top 5 movie makers.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, so he did Scott Pilgrim. He did Baby Driver. Mm-hmm. He did
that whole series with those British actors, like all the movies with those guys. I think Shaun of the Dead.
Right. Shaun of the Dead is an amazing movie. Shaun of the Dead's probably one of my favorite.
There was the drinking one.
Oh, End of the World.
Yes.
I didn't know that was him too. That's Sean, him and... Oh, I'm bad at
The End of the Universe?
Yes. At World's End. Thank you, Reed.
So, Dirty Habanero just mentioned a new book that's coming out from D&D, and it's called Xanther's Guide to Everything.
Okay.
And Xanther is the beholder who is the crime lord of Waterdeep.
Cool.
Yeah. So, it's the new book. It's the first expansion to the Player's Handbook. So, if you guys are getting ready to jump into a 5e campaign, this would be a good thing to look into. Because you can actually get up to... I think there are 25 more... character, options.
Wow.
Sub-races, subclasses. Really cool. Super cool.
When's this is coming out, super soon?
I think it's coming out... I think it is coming out soon.
Dirty Habanero says he has a copy.
Yeah, I think it's
out. Well, I'm going to have to stop at Gauntlet. I just got paid, too. So, perfect timing.
It looks super cool.
I'm going to have to pick up a volume of Volos, too.
Oh,
because I love me some monsters.
Well, what I love about Volos is not only does it present a lot of new monsters, it also presents a lot of archetypes of classic monsters.
Right.
So whereas in the monster manual you've got 3 or 4 different types of orcs.
Camera.
Gosh darn it, camera. Good catch, thanks, man. Whereas in the monster manual you've got 3 or 4 different types of orcs. In Volo's Guide, it gives you several more types of orcs, so you can really diversify a kind of group of them, rather than just having to modify the several originals.
Yeah, that sounds really cool, and I think it's also, again, just because I love merch, so having another D&D book, I have an entire shelf full, and I'm sure you probably. Of just my D&D books, my Star Wars books, Burning Wheel, all that kind of stuff. I would love a new book. Question is, do I want to spend $40? And I will, because again, I'm a merch.
You can always buy the PDFs.
Merch fiend.
PDFs are cheaper.
I know they are, but they don't feel as good. I want my tome, I want to be able to flip it open and.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And here's what I'm going to say this right now for everybody listening. I have zero problem with you owning a pirated PDF of a book, but you have to have purchased the book legit.
Same. I agree with that.
That's my personal opinion. I can't stand it when people just pirate books and have never actually paid any money to the author or the people who created it.
Especially when it comes to those indie games. I'm a big fan of the another, I didn't mention this at the start, but one of my favorite systems are those Dungeon World, Saga of the Icelanders, Apocalypse World, those kind of books. Because they are, they are like passions of, or projects of passion.
Independent creators.
Right. So, like I see a lot of people who just pirate the books and that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, no, like these are people who actually rely on that money. Like these are people who put their heart and soul into these books.
Yeah.
And so that you could have a fun time and play these games. You
can
the
likelihood of them being able to do another book or expand is kind of based on sales.
Well, even like Burning Wheel had that problem.
Yeah.
And Burning Wheel, it's not like it's far from the most well-known role-playing game, but it's still like pretty popular.
Oh, it's like top 5.
Yeah.
I would say probably.
And people, like, it's really important that you support, the creators.
Yep. I read an article this last week on Twitter. This author who she was on the 3rd book in her series, and the first 2 books did really well. The 3rd book got one of the copies that they send out early,
leaked.
The PDFs they send out early leaked and went all over the internet, and so her online sales tanked.
No.
And because of that, the publisher came back to her and said, "Hey, we're not going to print as many for the 4th book. We're just not going to print as many books because sales didn't show that it went out well enough." Even though she knows it did go out a ton,
right?
But to people who didn't pay for it, so it hurt the production of the 4th book. So she was determined to take it into her hands and prove that pirated PDFs hurt her sales.
Yeah,
because a lot of the publishing company people, the kind of bureaucratic,
were they not held responsible?
They just said, hey, like it happens. Pirating's part of the deal. Like it's just going to happen, and you just need to deal with it. It doesn't actually affect, prices.
So lame.
So she and her brother took the first 4 chapters of book 4 and repeated them throughout the entire PDF, throughout the entire fake PDF, along with a note about the harm of book piracy, and the day that the PDF of her book went up for sale, they posted that fake PDF all over all these different pirating websites, and it actually drove a ton of people on the forums and stuff saying, "Well, I can't find the real book, so I'm just gonna buy the da-da-da-da." So the sales rocketed. They ran out of print copies day 2.
That's amazing.
Day 2 of the book, they had to they needed to print more because the physical copies were sold out, and so they had to keep, and then after that they got sold out again. Had to do another print.
Wow.
And yeah, so and her whole thing was to just prove that the PDF the pirated books hurt the author. They really do. They affect the sales, and they can affect the likelihood of that book coming back, or that series.
Pittsburgh Fed also has a really good point, because if you're not buying physical books, and we talked about this earlier, like when you would rather buy a game from your local gaming store than you would off of Amazon.
Yeah.
Just because it's tough running a business like that,
mm-hmm.
and especially when they've kind of created their own little their own little holy land for gamers.
Yeah.
So it's important that you support your local gaming stores and that kind of stuff.
Or you might just end up seeing them disappear.
Or you go to, you're gonna have to buy them off of Amazon, and there's such a cool personal thing though when you buy a book and that kind of stuff, and that's really important. So.
And a lot of local gaming stores provide a place
to play and that kind of stuff.
For kids and people who don't have a community just of their own innately to spend time with and hang out. They may not have the friend group at school or the
mm-hmm.
natural charisma to gather people around themselves. And those game stores can provide an incredibly great place for like-minded individuals who enjoy gaming to get together and enjoy their hobby together. That's one of the things I love about local game stores, and it's one of the reasons why I want to get more involved with Gothic here. I want to eventually start showing up there to stuff and being involved with things, but it hasn't been a step I've taken yet. I'm somewhat intimidated.
I understand.
To try and enter into that scene. but I seriously value it.
I actually applied to Gauntlet, but I had to resend my application because I got too busy with school. Would have been a really awesome place to work.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, well, first off, you get that discount on all your supplies, but also just, being able to kind of, like, work on dice game stuff on, like, the off time, and you can hang out, see what everyone's doing, see what everyone... It's also really cool, because Gauntlet always has such an odd selection of games that everyone's running. Like, of course, there's the people running 5th edition, but then you also have the people playing, like, the war games, and, like, the Warhammer Fantasy, and that kind of stuff.
Man, that's a section of tabletop gaming that I've just refused to let myself get into.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
Warhammer, and I think I would enjoy it. I think I would really enjoy it, but I know it would be a time sink. Well, I would just lose myself.
You would probably really enjoy Warhammer just because of how you can buy your armies and
paint them.
And you can make them custom.
They're expensive though. Holy crud, they're expensive.
Dirty Habanero lives about 8 miles from Fantasy Flight's Asmode, I can't pronounce, North American headquarters, and they have a huge gaming space. That sounds so cool.
That's awesome.
I would love...
Son of a gun.
Fantasy Flights is super sick. I am in the area as well. Something in Madison.
Okay, what's Fantasy Flight? What's their deal?
Was that Fantasy Flight Games? I'm guessing it has to be some relation. Dirty Habanero, is that Fantasy Flight Games, like, headquarters? Now we wait.
Because of the lapse between the stream and real life.
Yeah, it is. So I'm guessing, they're probably always running. Fantasy Flight does one of my favorite board games, the A Song of Ice and Fire board game. But then they also do the Star Wars stuff, right? So they're probably running that stuff all the time.
Right on. That name reminds me of the Fighting Fantasy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The old books where you choose your own adventure.
Yeah. Do you ever get into those?
Oh, yeah. They were a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun to, like, find people playing them, like, live. Because, especially because you can do the voting.
You saying this would be something we could do on stream?
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
That would be really fun.
Because, you get the book and everyone can kind of sit around. Yeah, so, and everyone can do the poll where, I want to go take this route or I want to take that route. Force and Destiny came out. Wait, they're coming out with a Fallout board game? Dirty Habanero, don't mess with me. Is that true? That'd be amazing. Fallout's one of my favorite IPs.
That would be really cool.
I have a really cool, some guy, labor of love, because 5th edition, the system is open. It's open source. Some guy put together some of it.
Most of it is open
right,
source.
like the system itself.
Yeah.
Some guy took it and made a Fallout 5th edition game, and it was really fun. But if Fantasy Flight, I love their games. So if they're making a Fallout game, that sounds amazing.
That would be pretty sweet. I bet my brother would be really into that. He's a big Fallout.
What I need is an Elder Scrolls system.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Elder Scrolls is so classic fantasy. You could probably mod.
You're right.
A good 5e game for Elder Scrolls.
Going to that 5th edition open source, Adventures of Middle-earth is a 5th edition source book. It's not 5th edition. I think it's called, like, I don't know what the generic name is that they go under because of what Wizards of the Coast calls it.
Yeah.
But it's 5th edition Lord of the Rings. Super cool. If you're into Lord of the Rings, check it out, because 5th edition is such a quick system to pick up. And this adds new travel mechanics, because, the fellowship phase and that kind of stuff. How important it is to get, like, when you're traveling with your fellowship, your party. Excuse me. It adds all, like, the Lord of the Rings races, like the hobbits, their dwarves, the elves of, I want to say Lordaeron, but it's not Lordaeron. It's, elves of, Rivendell elves, but then there's also Legolas's dad. Who is
Mirkwood.
Mirkwood, thank you. And then there is what are they called? Is it just the elves of Mirkwood? Do they have a fancy name? doesn't matter.
Probably.
And then, Lake Town humans, Gondorian humans, and each human has their own different, subtypes and that kind of monsters, and it's really cool. Check it out if you're into 5th edition and Lord of the Rings.
Very cool.
Tower games. There's an awesome... I spend a lot of time in Chicago, and so there's an awesome gaming store called the Dice Dojo. So if any of you guys are in the Chicagoland area, check that out.
You know what? I almost went to the Dice Dojo.
Did you?
Yeah, Kels and I were in Chicago for our celebrating our anniversary this last year, and we saw Hamilton.
Nice.
Live.
Dang.
It was awesome. Holy cow, it was awesome. But I, of course, whenever I'm in a new city, whether I'm there for a week
or for
a day, I always try and hunt down the game store. And I found the Dice Dojo.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kelsey, we got to check out the Dice Dojo. But I think we only had a day left there. And it was on the other side of town. And we just decided not to. But
Dice Dojo was super cool.
Yeah.
And it's such an awesome location. It's in Andersonville, which is one of the kind of neighborhoods of Chicago.
Yeah.
It's actually, they have really hard to find print books. So I found... I play a lot of the Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game. It's one of my favorite systems. And I couldn't find a physical copy anywhere except for Amazon, which was going for $300. And I was like, I am not paying this.
Yeah.
It's gone down now because of the whole Game of Thrones fervor. So they're a lot cheaper. But at the time, I was like, I really don't want to buy this book for that much money.
Yeah.
But then I checked, and I was in Chicago at the time, so I checked Dice Dojo, and I called, and they said they had a copy of... the book and the campaign guide for $100.
Wow.
So I had money to spare, and so I bought them, and great purchase.
That's awesome.
Dice Dojo, check it out.
Chicago.
Let's see. Cass is saying you saw Hamilton. That's awesome. It is. I'm super jealous.
Yeah.
Where'd you see it? Do you know what theater? One of the...
I don't know. I yell at Kelsey, but I don't want to be a rude husband.
Man, Chicago is... I love Chicago.
Oh, man. So, okay, in the last 2 years, I've been to Washington, D.C. for the first time.
Yeah?
New York for the first time, and Chicago for the
first time.
And I have to say, Chicago was my favorite of all three.
Chicago's amazing because it has that... It's the big city. Mm-hmm. The big city, where you can find whatever you want, but then it also has that not the small town, but it also kind of has the hospitality of a place of one of the.
I remember talking to people and they were saying they didn't want to go to Chicago because they thought it was dangerous or
it's not.
But no way, I had no point.
If you're in the wrong place, sure, but
I mean, definitely there are places you don't want to go or be at certain times.
But that can be said for any place. Exactly. I mean, granted, Chicago's... What's this?
I mean,
Yeah, you don't want to end up on, the south side. But...
downtown Lincoln's never going to be as... As sketch in areas as, Chicago.
But, if you're in the right neighborhood, like Oak Park or Andersonville, or, you're going to have a great time. And there's all those local businesses. It's just really cool.
Next... sorry, go ahead.
No,
what were you going to say?
Dirty Habanero, next year get to Indy for Gen Con.
Ooh, I'd love to go to Gen Con.
I would
I was actually talking to Kelsey that I'd like to in the near future start actually making going to cons a more regular part of my year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be fun to rep Sneak Attack at a con at cons. Just walk around my t-shirt, meet people, and get to kind of be a for lack of a better term, a sneak attack evangelist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Telling people about the good news of a sneak attack.
The sneak attack.
Yeah. Let me tell you about save your soul.
Take a knee.
Yeah. Anyway, but other than that, I think it also would be really fun to just get to be there and experience those things.
Dirty Habanero, I'm not sure if this is true, but you could probably get comped badges and stuff for repping Sneak Attack. I don't know what badges are. Maybe, is that how you get in? Is that going to be your...
Yeah, that's the badges is what you get you into stuff.
Cool.
But I've only been to a few cons, And the few that I've been to were for Sneak Attack.
Are there any local cons near Lincoln?
We do. We have a con here in Lincoln, and in Nebraska.
Cool.
There's a big one. So I almost went last year, but I didn't end up going. But I'm like, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, like that. If they would accept Sneak Attack in on some of that, like,
well, you should totally check it out.
Super easy.
Local, well known,
we'd all be able to go because we're here close in town. That'd be really fun.
Cass says, I hold out hope that Sneak Attack will do another con. Have you guys been to a con before?
Been to 2.
Cool.
Yeah. We went to New York for, that was when I went to New York.
Awesome.
We went there for No Such Con at Vassar College. And then we went to, Alabama, Hoover, Alabama, for the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fest.
Nice.
And man, both those were a blast. Both those were really fun. The Sci-Fi Fantasy Fest, we had a lot more sneakers. That's what we call our listeners. We had a lot more of them show up at Sci-Fi Fantasy Fest, so we actually had like a meet and greet.
Proper following, nice.
With about 30 people that came to the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fest. That was top. I don't want to be too generous here. Like, top 10 moments of my life.
That's awesome.
Was getting to to meet so many of the people who listen to our podcast and really love it. One couple drove, I think, 14 hours, and we're there for just one day.
Dang.
And like that.
That's so cool.
For me, like I almost wish that we did less panels so that we could have spent more time with the fans.
That makes sense.
The listeners, just because, I wish I could have gotten more time to interact and talk with the people who drove so far, and it was really fun, man. I definitely want to do more of that if I can. But yeah, I love. I'm not like I don't like networking for the sake of like
networking,
expanding
sure,
my, you know what I mean, blah blah blah. I don't view people as tools for myself, you know what I mean? But I love networking. I love just like meeting other people, and I'm a fan of collaboration. So if I get an opportunity to work on something with another creator, like that kind of stuff gets me really excited. I love that kind of stuff.
Okay, off topic, but that green looks really cool.
It's coming out cool with the shade. Yeah. I like the shade does two things for me. It's great because it gives the nice shadows to play off of when I start doing detail, but it also helps tie in the different shades of the base. Mm-hmm. So it helps make them kind of more uniform and not so ooh, here's a dark color and a harsh change to a light color. It makes, if the greens feel a little different, a shade will help tie them together. So
yeah, they look intimidating. I like that.
Yeah. Is it 9:30?
Is it already?
Okay, we're probably gonna end it there. I will probably do the exact same thing that I've done for all three of these guys on the black ones, which will be less cool and exciting because they'll be just gray. But everybody, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you guys. Seriously.
Thanks for hanging out. We did here. I'll show you. I'll show off everything that we did.
They look really cool.
We'll get a nice close up on them here.
How many people are in chat right now?
We got 8.
8? Cool. Thanks for sticking around, guys.
Who have stuck with us. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a really good time, I think.
It's been fun. Jake, thanks for jumping in and co-hosting, man.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoy the community.
All right.
I enjoyed hearing Cass's story.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It
was worth
quite the build up.
The build up. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I didn't think it was going to live up to the hype.
No one did.
You kept us going.
Yeah.
But then eventually you hit it out of the park, and
it worked.
Everyone cheered.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Let's get these in focus.
They look super good.
Here's what we did, everybody. This is what we did today. These guys are red, blue, and green dragons.
They look real cool.
These were really fun. I'm not going to lay this one down necessarily because it's still wet. But yeah, there are our... did I say dragons? Cabal.
Kobolds.
Our Chromatic Kobolds. So everybody, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time we stream. If we stream again this week, probably Wednesday or Friday, but for sure you'll see me next Monday. And Jake, you in?
I'm in.
All right. So you see Jake as well. So
woo!
Everybody have a great night. Thanks again, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
You know where the stop stream button?
I know what the stop stream button is.